I'm on number 28, but I wanted to show you I did a little bit of realigning up there so that you can tell that that orange problem goes with 27. So on the printout, if you have that, you'll notice it looks a little different than your test. All right, number 28. A temporary gas tax increase of 10 cents per gallon is being imposed to assist with road maintenance. So let me write that as a decimal. That's 10 cents per gallon. Using the information in the accompanying table, how much more, that's a subtraction word, usually. I'm not sure it's going to be in this one, but possibly. How much more would the average person spend per year traveling to and from work as a result of the gas tax increase? So it tells us that this person works 215 days a year, gets average gas mileage of 20 miles per gallon, and drives an average distance to work of 25 miles. Now, I am assuming that this is one way. Otherwise, it would have told us round trip. And you know my rule, or my procedure for myself. If something's moving, I draw it. Okay. So here is home, and here is work. And we know that this is 25 miles this way. So it's going to be 25 miles the other way. So I'm going to allow for 50 miles round trip. Okay. And we know that our person does this 215 times a year. So we'll use that maybe in just a minute. Yes, we will have to. Okay. Let me make sure we're saying round trip here. So the next question becomes, how many gallons of gas does the person actually have to buy? We know that every time he buys gas, or she, has to pay 10 cents per gallon, but we need to know how many gallons of gas. We know that this person gets 20 miles per gallon, so let's write a ratio of that. And we know now that he or she has to drive 50 miles per trip. So let's figure out how many gallons it's going to take. That's 1 times 50, that's 50, divided by 20 is going to be 2.5 gallons. So every time he makes the trip, he's using 2.5 gallons of gas. So then let's take the 2.5 gallons and multiply it by a dime per gallon. And I'm going to do this on the calculator, so let me just write it this way. Times 10 cents per gallon. And that's going to be 25 cents, I do believe, but let's be sure. 25 cents per day, because remember, he's using 2.5 gallons per day at 10 cents per gallon. That's going to be a quarter, 25 cents per day, additional money that it's going to cost. And you think, well, that's not too bad. But we have one more step. This is a beast. we have to figure out what that quarter per day adds up to. So 25 cents per day times 215 days. Do it on the calculator. 25 cents, a quarter a day, is $53.75 per year that gas tax is going to cost. So I would go with E as in echo. So let me walk you through the steps here. The first step was to figure out the round trip mileage. And then I brought that down here. And then I used that to find out the number of gallons per day. That was 2.5 gallons a day. And then I used that to find out the cost per day. And then I used that to find out the cost per year. And finally, we got an answer. This is a 4-step problem, and it's not an easy one. It's a lot of thinking. You have to follow the steps very carefully. And I'm trying to map those for you. This went here, and then this went here, and then we went here, and finally we went here. Lots of steps.